Hey guys, and welcome to the second installment to the Darth Vader comics that have just come out. This is the second series, I guess we could call it, as the first one was taking place closer to Revenge of the Sith, and obviously way before A New Hope. But this one is, of course, between episodes 4 and 5. So we're going to pick up right from the last episode, and if you haven't seen that one, I'm going to link it down below in the description, so be sure to check it out so you're all caught up. Now this one is pretty interesting, because we get to see that Vader, among all things, is obsessed with Padmé, and who does he come across? Well, what he thinks is Padmé, at least for this moment. However, of course, we're going to realize that it is actually Sabe, who was her decoy from the Phantom Menace. This goes all the way back, which is pretty cool. So we start the first page of the comic with basically just the same scene from Attack of the Clones, when they were about to go into the Geonosian arena at the hands of Count Dooku and the Separatists to die. The John Williams music starts to flare, and she says, "I've been dying a little bit each day since you came back into my life. I love you." And of course, Anakin says, "You love me? I thought we decided not to fall in love. That we would be forced to live a lie, that it would destroy our lives. I think our lives are about to be destroyed anyway." So Vader snaps out of it and sees before him what looks to be a very convincing clone of Padmé. She says, "What did you call me?"
She seems to be the same age Senator Amidala would be if she were still alive. Superficial scans reveal a similar bone structure. She even wears Naboo-style field gear.
"Who are you?" she asks.
"Why, this is Darth Vader, the Emperor's..."
And as soon as he says that, well, the jig is up and her droid start firing. Of course, Vader just controls immediately.
"That was a mistake."
Tossing her weapon aside, he presses the question.
"Who are you?"
"You said it yourself. I'm Padmé Amidala." Where Vader starts to recollect his memories, Queen, Senator, daughter of Naboo, back from the dead to haunt you to your grave. And then this is where we get a really rhythmic scene with Revenge of the Sith, as he starts to choke Sabe, where we see parallels between here and when he was choking Padmé. He throws her to the ground pretty much as she collapses after being choked, just like Padmé did, and runs away. As he's slowed down by the fauna, the Vendaxan land squid, he wipes them out easily, no problem. And these are some pretty sick visuals. I mean, he just cuts right across their head. He follows after Sabe and finally finds her when she opens the gate to where all the fauna will come through eventually. And the whole thing is basically just, it's pretty poetic, and I know I say that a lot, but it really is, because it's him just reliving these moments between the present and the past, who he was before and who he is now.
"Tell me, don't be afraid."
"I'm not afraid." And then if we remember, Padmé says, "I'm not afraid to die." And Sabe says, "I'm angry."
"Padmé is dead, but you wear her face, speak with her voice. You're the Queen's shadow, a handmaiden from Naboo."
Ah, of course. Let me just cross-reference my Imperial databank. Yes.
Where of course the droid says that she is Sabe, the Queen's double, just a shade taller than Padmé and slightly more pronounced jaw, and a 0.15% deeper voice even after adjusting for age. Now, Vader reveals that years ago on Coruscant, Sabe actually broke into Padmé's quarters, and she wanted to find out what happened to her. He pushes the question, what did she learn? And this is interesting, because we now finally see what the outsiders really saw of what happened to Padmé and the Empire. Of course, we know that Anakin kind of choked her to death, and there's a theory out there that Palpatine stole her life essence and gave it to Anakin, so that he could rise as Darth Vader. I don't know if I buy into that theory, but it's an interesting one nonetheless. But that being said, we know that side. However, the other side, we're just about to learn. Padmé fell, and the Emperor ascended. He killed her, didn't he? Now, Vader says before Padmé died, she was stolen away. Whoever hid her betrayed the Empire. Sabe says, that really doesn't make any sense. She stood with the Jedi, not the Empire. And Vader is so convinced that had she survived, then she would have stood with the Empire, meaning stood with him. Vader tries to turn her to his side to say that they both fight for the same cause, to avenge Padmé, to find out who hid her this entire time from the Empire.
"You serve Padmé. You want revenge as well. Together, we can find them."
And of course, once again, we get another rhythmic scene with here and Attack of the Clones, where Vader and Sabe team up to fight the fauna, which really reminds us of Anakin and Padmé in the Geonosian arena. She fights the Nexu, and Sabe here fights this creature beast. Now, when Vader says come, you basically do what he says, but in this case, just like Padmé, she's hard-headed and she just does what she wants, like a true leader. She says, "No, we first have to bury the dead here." Vader allows it, and the droid does the work. They were good soldiers who walked with me at Padmé's funeral. And we see the Death Troopers and Vader, just kind of listening from afar. And they will be mourned. Not like you, Lord Vader, and not like me. Now come, so you can serve your Emperor, and I can have my vengeance.
Oh, she's giving the orders now?
We knew we didn't have the full story of her death, so yes, after the funeral, we went to Coruscant, and we broke into Padmé's quarters, and I stole the chamber's security recordings. I thought there must be some clue there, some hint to who really killed her, but I was never able to decrypt them. But then the Empire showed its true colors, and our strength was required elsewhere. So until we had the resources to take up the search again, we hid the recordings on Naboo. And then here we get a flip of what Padmé and Anakin were talking about, and Vader and Sabe, and here, she says, "Don't be afraid," and then Vader's thoughts, "I'm not afraid, I'm angry." And so the next issue is going to be them going to Naboo, where they're going to find Mace Windu and go to her tomb. No, I'm just kidding. No, they're going to go to Naboo, and they're going to find her tomb, it looks like from this photo. A lot of correlation with Vader Episode 2, possibly. I don't know, maybe Mace Windu will show up. Who knows, really? But that's it for this episode, this comic issue. I'm really excited to see where it lands in the next one. I'm wondering, who could we find on Naboo? What could we learn on Naboo with these hidden recordings? And once Vader actually finds them, what's he going to learn? What did we not see from Order 66 that could possibly be in there? Or from Padmé's archives, or the recordings in general. Maybe there are things that we don't know, and we're just about to find out. Maybe things that Vader has to keep quiet. Well, hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Until then, remember, the Force will be with you, always.